Hey everyone, BlueLizardJello here, and it's time for another episode of Everything Possible Before a Boss here in Dark Souls 2. And today we're going to explore the Shrine of Winter, specifically how to get past it if you haven't collected all the boss souls, as well as we're going to check out Drangleic Castle. So here I am in utter despair that I cannot open this gate, for I must seek mightier souls. So there are three ways right now of opening that. You can get the 4 Lord Souls, the 4 Great Souls. You can achieve 1 million soul memory, or you can do what I'm doing, and that's to skip it altogether. Now I'm going to give you my best rendition of how to do this skip, but I'm also going to put an annotation with Noobist's description on how to do this, who is the one who actually taught me how to do this. So first off, with this branch right here, you want to start walking until you are just getting some elevation, and then you turn to this tree that I'm facing right now and walk slowly until your character levels out, until you hit this plateau, and then stop. Then you look to your left at the peak of this hill. You want to line your head up with it and then just walk towards it. And you want to get your left leg just about at the peak and stop. Okay, then look to the left. Now this branch, there's an elbow in it where my head is. This is how you want to line your character up and just roll straight forward. As long as you are with me so far. I like to tip the camera down at this point and walk slowly almost to the end of the branch that I'm supposedly on. And stop, and then look to the corner of the shrine, and we're just going to run and jump. Now from this point, keep running. Don't stop running. At one point during my testing, I actually got stuck and died, similar to my death in the gutter, if you've seen that video. But I made it. Congratulations. Again, I'm not the person to teach you. Noobist did a great job explaining it. His link will be in the description of the video, as well as the annotation should have already popped up. Watch his, he'll give you some exacts on where you should be standing, how you should be placing your body, etc. So let's get geared up and let's make our way towards Drangleic Castle. Now just a quick note about me and my personal preferences. I do love watching speedrunning, but I don't love all of the skips. I don't love all the glitches. Currently, Bino boosting is one of the mechanics that I will say that they are using to go faster. They're using parry skips to get through certain doors. I'm not a big fan of those, and it really just comes down to personal preference. I don't mind the Shrine of Winter skip only because all it's saving me from doing is collecting 1 million souls. I could have done that, it just would have been tedious. So here's our first set of items. We have Repair, and we have Large Soul of a Lost Undead. Now Repair is a spell that works like Repair Powder. You cannot let items get broken and then fix them. You still need to see a blacksmith, but if the durability is low, you can bring it back up to full. Yet another Divine Blessing. And our second run-in with one of the Heide Knights. So let's deal with him swiftly. And we'll pick up his Heide Lance. Now just like the Heide Knight sword, this weapon does have natural lightning damage as well. So it is split damage, but if you want to upgrade along the lightning path, you are welcome to do so. Large Soul of a Nameless Soldier, another human effigy. Now let's magically run through this tunnel where it is now raining on the other side. Apparently, just like time, weather patterns in Drangleic are quite convoluted, to say the least. And let's take care of these soldiers. Takes me just a moment. But while I'm doing this, if you're still listening, if you're paying attention, I would like your ideas on what I should do as a follow-up to this series. This series is actually about to wrap up. There's not much more to do after Drangleic Castle. We just don't have access unless we want to start killing bosses. So I have a couple ideas. Number one is I think maybe I'll just continue a playthrough of the game as normal, but use the same character, and just do an in-depth item guide for each area. Another possibility would be I could just finish the game on this character and then start my one-shot boss challenge in New Game Plus with all the items that I acquired in this game. Or I could do a combination of both. I could upload my videos as in-depth item guides, beat the game, and then start a one-boss challenge, or one-shot boss challenge. If any of you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments below. Send me a message. I'd love to hear them. Because I do need to keep playing Dark Souls. I just don't know what to do next. Alright, kill the Crystal Lizard from range or else he will run right off the cliff. Pick up Titanite Chunk ×3 and a Titanite Slab. So that's our second slab of this playthrough, again, without killing any bosses. Recharge our spells, and let's make our way up.
You're so... if you proceed regardless.
I do like that they added this. So the Emerald Maiden has a slightly different set of dialogue options there if you've killed all the great ones, as opposed to you've just collected 1 million soul memory, or in this case, if you just skip the shrine altogether. Now she's telling us that our soul is still frail and pallid because we didn't actually go through the process of killing all the great ones. So I find that an interesting touch. Now these enemies right here, officially they're known as Primal Knights. They're clearly Mastodons, and in fact they even drop Mastodon items, and we'll be picking up one of their items later on, but they're not too difficult from range. And there we go, Mastodon Helm. We'll actually get their Greatsword later on too. So, these giants or golems, however you want to call them, they have the urns in front of them. You need to feed the souls of the enemies to these golems in order for them to turn the urns that are in front of them and open the door to Drangleic Castle. In order to do that, make sure you are near enough to the urn when you kill an enemy. Unfortunately, not like that. Or did I get it? I guess I did get that one, but now I need to get the other giant. But in the meantime, let's run over here and get some more treasure. Pick up the Great Combustion Pyromancy, as well as our 6th and final Fire Seed for this Everything Possible Before a Boss playthrough. So finally a decent Pyromancy that we could start using. Okay, doors are opening. It does take a moment. Now once the doors are open, these soldiers will stop spawning. Until that door is open, however, they will spawn infinitely. That way the game is giving you a chance to actually get the door open. So, good guy FromSoft. Yeah, how does it feel to get beaten with a magic staff? Probably as good as it feels to get hit with your sword, I would imagine. Maybe even less. Alright, into the castle we head. We'll go up the stairs. The only thing we can do up here is talk to Chancellor Welliger, who does have some decent inventory in his possession, but the only thing that we can get for free is a gesture. So we're about to get this one's me gesture. As long as you talk to him a lot.
Well, tell me.
Almost like this double-thumbed Fonzie move. So just showing off some of the things that he offers. Now his inventory will be expanded greatly in New Game Plus. Now from what I understand, you cannot use Bonfire Settings for him to increase his inventory. You do actually have to beat the game through to New Game Plus. Now, please, if that is incorrect, that is only what I've heard. I've never tried it myself, so feel free to correct me in the comments if that is incorrect information. Now, coming up, I have to admit, this is going to be one of my sloppiest videos of the series, sadly to say, and that's because I horribly butcher one of the main rooms in this run. And that's the room with all the stone soldiers and the ruined sentinels and the 6 doors up and down the sides. I do a terrible job. So I actually cut and pasted the video together for that portion just so you could see the items you can get. And I will kind of talk about the strategy that you should employ in that room as opposed to the strategy that I used, which went horribly, horribly wrong. I was going to just speed the video up like I've done in previous videos. However, even after speeding it up, that room took almost 10 minutes. Because you can do it wrong, as I did, and it's painful. We'll snipe these enemies from afar. And the only reason I'm even killing them is to show you what lies at the end of this corridor. So we run down a well-guarded door, and inside, are you ready? Are you? Pointless. Yeah, no kidding. Not a door. Alright, 2 more soldiers in this area. And then we can hop down the ladder. Open this door and then run straight ahead to open a similar door. And we will find our saving grace, our next bonfire. It's right in front of you. There it is. That is the way to the Throne of Want, which we can't open without the King's Ring. So here's how this room works, and I will talk about it amongst my splits. So we have more golems, and the golems, if we kill an enemy nearby, will light sconces in the room, which will light it up and make it easier to actually attack items. But here's our first item. It's the room on the right-hand side, and in this iron chest, we'll grab a Mastodon Greatsword. So you need to kill enemies by the golems to light it up, and you need to kill them by the doors in order to light up the actual chambers themselves. But inside all but one of the chambers are rune sentinels, so keep that in mind. And here's our Royal Soldier's Ring +1. So you can see 6 rooms in here, and what I recommend doing is run in, get the golems lit up first, because it does give you greater lock-on distances with the enemies, and then start taking out the rooms individually, starting with the back right corner and then the back left corner, and then do the middle right, then do the left right, then do the left front, and then do the right front. And the reason is, if you do what I did and you start opening up some of the middle ones first, every time you rest at the bonfire, the rune sentinels respawn, and now you have to kill them in order to make it past for the next rooms. It's a terrible strategy. I'm really not sure what I was thinking. It was late at night when I played this, but it took far, far longer than it should have. But just for a quick rundown of what you can find in this room, in the back right-hand corner, you have the Royal Soldier's Ring +1, which we've already picked up. In the middle right room, you grab the Mastodon Greatsword. In the front right room, that is actually the way to proceed. Now, in this room, which is left middle, this is another Pharros Lockstone, Melentia Pharros Lockstone, for free. And then, in this back left corner room, if you hop down this hole, there's a few things. Number 1, there's a bonfire. This is the Under Drangleic bonfire. We'll rest up. Number 2 is the Faraam Armor Set. Now this is a very cool looking set of armor. This is also the armor that was used in the first trailer of the game, as well as the cover of the game itself. So if you've been looking for that, here it is. And lastly, we have our third instance of running into Dark Diver Grandal. And because we've met him all 3 times, we can now join his covenant, which we will do in the next episode, but not in here. So let's go ahead and warp back to the King's Chamber bonfire, and we're going to proceed. So again, front right room is where you're going to actually find the path to go forward in the castle. A quick note, these stone soldiers can drop Titanite slabs. And if you want a good farming session, kill the enemy with the shields first, because every time you kill one and you rest at a bonfire, only one of the soldiers will remain guarding the door from now on. So if you kill the one with the shield, the one with the spear is much easier to kill later on. Soul of a Hero, Old Radiant Lifegem, Monastery Charm. Soul of a Hero is definitely nothing to scoff at. And 15 dark arrows in here. Now another goof in this video that I made, and there were several. Up in the next room we're going to have some acid flowing around. Acid is corrosive and it will break our equipment. So I go through the trouble of taking off my armor, taking off my weapons, and I leave my rings. Well, watch what happens as soon as I get just a little ways into the acid. Number one, we do pick up Corrosive Urn times 3. But now my rings are at risk. And now my rings start breaking. Take off everything, guys, and you'll be fine. Don't do what I did. Let's pick up the Elizabeth Mushroom. And then unfortunately there is going to be another cut here because I had to run back and warp to Majula so I could repair my rings. I decided not to waste one of my 2 precious bones, so I do actually run back to the bonfire, but I will go ahead and cut that. Here I am, several souls less, all my armor fixed. Let's go on. Now in this next room, I always equip Poison Moss because it's inevitable that you're going to get hit. Can you do it without it? Sure, but where's the fun in that? And grab yourself a large soul of a brave warrior, Twinkling Titanite. And we're nearly there. We're almost done with what we can complete in Drangleic Castle. And here we pick up a Greatsword, which is nice. One of the few strength weapons we've actually picked up in this playthrough. You can see the shiny over there on the ledge. We'll be picking that up. No worries. Now in this room, there is a giant painting of the Queen. Stay away from it. It is like the laughing jars and you will get cursed, but I believe the curse buildup is much faster near that painting than it is by the curse jars. As soon as we hit this platform, we're going to be invaded by the Nameless Usurper. Nameless Usurper, who has a name, whose name we know very well. Now, we haven't met her in this playthrough, and I don't want to spoil anything, but just understand that she has a name. She has a name. And you can deal your revenge on her later on. The Nameless Usurper will invade you once here, and then once when you are in the Undead Crypt. And then you can invade her. And exact sweet, sweet justice. So I run up here just to kind of show you that this is the limit of how far we can go. Here is Queen Nishandra. And I do put on the Ring of Whispers in order to hear that growl, that little Easter egg that I heard about. I didn't hear it. I still don't hear it. And I'm listening with headphones, but if I'm missing it, let me know. But maybe that's just not true. I guess you can't believe everything you read on the wiki, huh? And over here, this is the boss gate for the twin Dragon Riders. So if you want the 2 Dragon Riders to be the very first boss or bosses that you take down, have at it. So let's backtrack just a little bit because there is a ladder that we ran past. There it is. So we'll slide down here, and there's a couple of secrets we want to deal with. Number 1, we got a Soul of a Brave Warrior. Number 2, we're going to kill that soldier who's going to take pot shots at us. And let's slide down yet another ladder. And in this iron chest, we will pick up the Hunter's Blackbow and 20 iron arrows to go with it. Now, the Hunter's Blackbow is one of the best standard bows in the game. And the reason I say that, it's exceptionally average, if I can put it that way. It has less range than the Seabow, but it has a higher attack rating. It has a higher range than the composite bow, but less attack rating. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So hidden wall right there, you do have to interact with that one and light the bonfire. And let's warp back to Majula and let's celebrate the fact that we've now seen all of the landscape specific areas, I will say, that you can before a boss. So we only have an episode, maybe 2 if I stretch it out, left. So please, if you have any ideas for series or anything that you want to see on this channel, let me know. I would love to take it into consideration as I plan for the next series. Thank you guys so much for watching. All the comments, you've been great. I will see you next time.